is regarding what's the idea of an Amidah. V'anora el Elyon. What does El Elyon mean? We spoke about it for a couple of days, and we'll close off this corner today. And we ended off yesterday regarding the simple mercy. What's the simple mercy of God? We're going to speak right now how the highest levels in spirituality gets to the level of simple. The highest levels, atzmut. What's etzim? Etzim is the bone of a person, right? Etzim, atzmi. Atzmi is myself. The self of God, kiviyachol, is so simple. The simplest thing possible. And where do we see this? This level of the simple comes from where? From the Romamut Atzmut. Comes from the highest level of God in Atzmut. When God is sitting at his awe and his greatness by itself. Now what does this mean? How does this connect to what we're saying in Amidah every single day? We're saying simple this, but how do we say Amidah and see these words inside? So we already explained that what's mercy. We said there's two types of mercy. There's a mercy that you have from a connection to someone or from your greatness. Someone, or what passed, a similar story, he was also on the streets when he was young. He couldn't collect money, he wasn't successful. And through that someone believed in him, he grew higher and higher. That's one way. Or someone that he's so great, and this that he gets to his greatness, he doesn't put other people down, rather he makes other people greater. Now, there's something so we brought two levels. The third level no human has, because these two levels are considered, the two levels that we spoke about now are limited. Something called Tnuat HaNefesh. Tnuat HaNefesh is the movement of the soul, the movement of our emotions. Someone could have the best day ever, one small thing could ruin that day. It's called Tnuat HaNefesh. One little movement destroys a week, destroys years with your partner. Why? Tnuat HaNefesh. The soul did a certain movement, we weren't ready for it, and that's it. Now, what do we see? This is all limited. Stuff that are limited stuff could shake it off. But something that's not limited, that means everlasting love, happiness, does not get destroyed. Now how do we get to that type of level of mercy? That type of level of mercy only Kadosh Baruch Hu has. That's it. We have to work on ourselves. B'nai Adam, we come to this world to work on ourselves, to work on our midot. Not to say, I'm going to get to a certain level and that's it. Life's an escalator. And we say over here, that just to interpret it into spiritual levels is Memaleh Kol Almin and Sovev Kol Almin. Memaleh Kol Almin means you're filling up, like we explained in the past 2 days, that you're filling up a certain energy in some, let's say I'm filling up a cup with water. Sovev Kol Almin is when the cup of water is filled, and I give you another pitcher and I tell you, it doesn't make sense you're going to fill in this pitcher in this full cup. This cup is full. But in spiritual ways, they could fit the energy of the water in the cup. Now the highest levels, like we said, Atzmut, and let's see it inside. Comes over here, comes the Ta'ana of David HaMelech, the claim that David HaMelech had against the way that God created this world, built this world. So it starts off, Be'or Penei Melech Chaim, in front of the face of the great, the God that gives life. When we gaze, we can't really gaze, but in a spiritual look in the face of God, what are we going to see? The simple type of rachamim, the simple type of mercy. That all what comes from the eyes, sort of in quotations, whatever comes out of the face of God is only good in life. And now comes the Bala Yom Huledet today. The Bala Yom Huledet today is Rabbi Shalom Dovber. 164 years ago he was born, and he is the fifth Lubavitcher Rebbe in the Chabad dynasty, and he came with a chidush regarding this exact idea with this exact level. On the pasuk that it says, "Sheta avonotenu lenegdecha ve'alumenu me'or panecha." David HaMelech tells HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it sounds, if you read it according to Pshat, how could it be, God, that you give all the sin in front of our eyes and all the greatness hidden in a book? Do the opposite. Take all the sins, put them in some old book on the shelf, and all the greatness of God and all the ta'avot which are good, put them out in the world. Make people have the emotion that they only want to do tzedakah all day. Where does it come, this idea that someone wants and thinking all day of doing lo alenu things? Why? Because every single place you turn, you get to a certain emotion, a certain thing gets triggered. The story, I don't have the source of the exact person, of the exact rich person, Gvir, they used to donate to one yeshiva, especially it's in America. And he one time came out of that yeshiva, that he donates and he supports them, and he sees that right outside the yeshiva there's a billboard with an image which is not appropriate. And he says, this can't be. So he calls the company, the advertising company, and asks them, well, how much longer is this going to be over here, this inappropriate image in front of the yeshiva? They told him, according to what we have over here, 90 days. So he asked them, how much does it cost over here to take it down? So they told him, 1,000 a day. They're paying us, let's say 9 something, 8 something, you give us 1,000, we take it down. He's like, okay. He did a calculation in his head. What I have to do to save a soul of the every single boy that comes out of yeshiva every single day looks at this, it could ruin his whole day. We said, right, one emotion could destroy a full day of everything. So he tells them, okay, take it down. I'm paying it. I'm paying this money. They asked him, what do you want to put instead? We have to put something instead. He said, every single day switch it. Put 90, 89, put it down. I should know how much am I paying for. With time, it became like everyone's waiting for day number 1. What's going to happen on day number 1? And everyone's like, there's no clue. It was in the papers, the news. Everyone. Today is day 38. Today is 37. Today is 36. Everyone's waiting. 90 days build up for something. Coca-Cola calls them up and asks them, "Can I? It's a beautiful story. I heard this yesterday. Coca-Cola calls them, can we please put our advertising in day numbers in day 0? He tells them, listen, I have to think about it. Tell them 3 million. 3 million. I'll think about it. He calls the phone, of course, it's a question. 3 million. And you see, it's investment that he put. The fruits that came out of it. Why? Because he saves. So the same idea over here, he says, the Rebbe Rashab says like this, on the same pasuk. David HaMelech tells God, how could it be you gave us all the sin in front of our eyes, and all then all the sins you put in you put all the good things you put it hidden in a book. He explains that God, what should God do? God take take all of our sins. It says Adarabah. Rabbi Rashab explains over here. What does David HaMelech do? David HaMelech is not complaining to God who gave us all the sins. What is he telling God? He tells him, no. Take out all of our sins in front of your face with all of our goodness. And in the time when you have the simple rachamim, the second one, God, right? We said that God has a special mercy, which is much higher than the level that we can get to. Because what we can get to is limited. What a God can get to is not limited. So there's a certain type of mercy. David HaMelech says, when God, please put in front of your face all of our sins. That you should see all of our dirtiness, all the bad things. In that moment that God has this high level of mercy, you should look at our sins and clean everything up. That's what David HaMelech says. I know I'm sinning, I know I'm doing stuff wrong, I'm doing something wrong, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu mimikor harachamim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the source of mercy, and the level that he gets to is much higher than the level that we spoke over here. Malek kol almin, sovev kol almin, all these different levels. God is atzmut, etzem ha'inyan. That's so he tells him, take out all of our garbage, all of the tzoah, all the badness, put it in front of us, in front of you. And when you have that moment, it should clear everything up. Just like the Baal Tshuva, all of his sins becomes mitzvot. And that's much greater than tzaddik. Because there is Ramach mitzvot. Ramach mitzvot, there's 248 mitzvot. And Shasa lotas, right? And Shasa alavim. How much is that? 365. So we see over here, there's much more averot, and when someone's Baal Tshuva goes back, he has much more than the tzaddik that works in his whole life. Baruch Adonai La'olam, Amen ve'amen.